Hello and welcome to Chez Zasaa, and today it's a Zasaa Zooms In where I just go in and zoom in with one of my friends on a topic. So today I've got my friend Lola with me and we're going to be talking about friendship. Okay, Lola. So the reason we're talking about this is because because you made a comment that I have a problem with.
All right.
Do you remember what your comment was?
You're going to tell me now, I'm sure.
So you said, well, I don't know if you said we should or we do, but you said something about having friends for different reasons.
Purposes.
Okay, I have a problem with that.
Why?
Because I feel like when you have a friendship, when I have a friendship, the person is my friend. I don't befriend them for I understand that thing. You know, there's a thing that says there's it actually says reasons, don't it? That friends, you have some friendships are for a reason, some for a season, some for a lifetime. I don't know where that I got it from. Word for Today years ago. But they say reason, season, and lifetime. I've always got the season and the lifetime. But the reason one, because I feel like if you have a friendship, I don't know that you go into, well, maybe some people do.
Well, some people do it for sure, and maybe we all do,
Subconsciously.
to a certain level. It may not necessarily be negative reasons or selfish reasons, but I think, you're friends with somebody because of something they bring into your life or they've brought into your life at some point.
Okay,
whether it's because you met in primary school or you were in boarding school.
Okay,
together,
so let's even stop and go to
together.
primary school. So the friends that you meet in primary school, it's not really that they're bringing anything to your life, is it? Or isn't
But those are your first friends.
So is that what they bring it? What are they bringing to you? It's just that those are, because I almost feel like some friendships happen just because of
where
situation.
You are.
Yes. As opposed to because, I like your dress, or because, it just happens because we are together in the same place at a certain time. So we become friends, and then we do actually become friends, but we're kind of put in that situation where friendship can be developed, right?
Yeah, so the question is, when you're out of that situation, does the friendship develop?
Does it stay?
For example, how many people from primary school are still your you probably most, but for normal folk like us.
For normal folk like you.
I think I forgot about all of them when I turned 11 and zoomed off, but obviously secondary school friends are more, I'm obviously still friends with a good number.
Well, to fight my corner, I did go to a lot of my primary school friends went to the same secondary school, so I think so it's kind of so it's not so much. I do have one or two just primary school, but a lot of the ones that are my primary school friends were in the same secondary school too, so it kind of worked. It's not like from when we were 2 years old.
I think if we kind of go back a bit to the statement, I think what I was trying to convey is just the principle of meeting people where they are. So when I say you have different friends for different purposes, it's not so mechanical that you put them in a box. It's just understanding, this friend is good at or for this, or
But doesn't
so I have some friends that if I want to have a good time, we'll hang out.
These are the ones that.
But I won't call them if I need to do if I need to do some, I'm a Christian, and sometimes you find yourself in a place where you just need somebody to hold down with you, pray with you, give you the word. Now,
and it's not necessarily those friends.
Not that they're not Christians or they're not, but it's that's just not how. It may not even be the expression of Christianity.
It's almost like just honing in on their character, their strengths. And it's very interesting because I always have to stop and think about it, because as you know, I have friends. And somebody said to me once, they can't all be your friends, and I was like, but they are. I had to actually.
But I think so as well. I think they're not all. It's impossible for one person.
That's what everybody says. But you see, when I stop and I look at it, and I understand what you guys are saying, but when I stop and look at it, I'm like, but they are. The levels of friendship are different. And you know what I mean. But there's. In the group of people that I call my friends, they're my friends. They're not acquaintances. You know how you have some people that are your acquaintances and people tend to call them friends just because, or you have colleagues. Some of my colleagues are my friends, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes they're colleagues as opposed to friends. Yeah. And I always have this issue where I'm like, when you have been around, so I used to do this thing a lot. I don't know if you remember when we used to work together in that particular establishment. I used to go around and ask them, how many friends do you have that are not from your country?
Okay.
You know, because I always feel like when you live in a foreign country, your friends must not be just from the country you come from.
Okay.
I have a problem with that because I'm like,
But why?
because I'm like, but you've been here for 40 years. So what have you been doing for the 40 years? Just looking for people like you. And it's funny, actually, this is actually worth a discussion because I know that, you're drawn to people like yourself.
Yeah.
So I get that. But I just don't understand how you would have come here, gone to university here, been working here and all your friends. I'm not even saying that, but you don't have a friend that is not Nigerian, and we're talking Nigerian in this case because so I'm not even saying you don't have a Ghanaian friend. I'm not even saying let's even go to a Polish friend or anything. You just all your friends are Nigerian. I'm like, but how is this possible? I understand that you're obviously attracted to people like you, but I feel like that means either you are not trying or you're not making, because obviously there are differences with people from different cultures. You're going to have to make a bit more of an effort for it to become a friendship. And so is it that you're not trying, or is it that you're not meeting these people, or is it that you know what I mean? But then I'm like, if you've worked and you've gone to university, you've met these people. So I always find it, but anyway, I digress.
But then when you ask them, they're probably thinking it's not to your level to look at that way, because you probably know everybody somebody from every country going,
Yeah,
but so that's probably what they think. But I find it hard to believe that anyone would have lived in this country for 10, 15, 20 years and you haven't.
I've met people like that, so I can even name names here, but I won't. But you know what I mean? Like, and so I feel like that is on us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you must, and especially as the foreigners, you're coming into a foreign land. Yes, we may have naturalized, we might have been born here, we're probably British, whatever, but we are the ones that have come in. Then we need to make the effort.
Absolutely agree. Yeah.
I always found it funny when I don't know how we're on this now, because I think friendship has gone. How, when you find that, like in the Asian culture and in the Africa, where there's some grandmas that have lived here and they don't speak English and they've been here and you're like, but where have you been?
Yeah.
That you can't, you know what I mean? So clearly it is possible to isolate yourself so much that you don't. And I feel like that's so that's why I used to go around asking the question that you cannot, as a young person, have been in this country for this and not have friends outside of your cultural
relationship.
thing.
Especially if, for example, you have children and your children start making friends.
And I think that's probably where it happens for more people than in the office. Because I think people tend to think they're my colleagues. Well, they're my university students. You know what I mean? That they're not my friends.
Yeah.
But obviously, when your children now become friends, it kind of almost forces you to a certain extent to develop some sort of friendship or relationship with people who you probably wouldn't have. But circumstances, it's back to that thing of primary school. Circumstances have thrown you into. But anyway, back to friendship and friends, and for a reason. So I think the reason why I really objected to your statement, or to that statement, was because I felt like it almost was a calculated thing. And I know that there are people that will befriend people for specific reasons, because I want to get to this one's network, or this one is friends, or whatever. So I know that there are people that will do that. That's different. But the way I don't think that most people are like that. So I guess what you were trying to say is when you are in it, that you just love them as they are.
Exactly. So it's not, I'm good. I need 5 friends this year, so I'm going to find, one that
finance,
one in, in parliament. And it's more of you kind of just reflecting on how, because look, the truth is, people get offended if you don't call them, if you don't, do this or the other. I mean, I remember she's not my friend, but I remember one lady in church one day, and she said to me, so why don't you come and say hello to me? She's much older than me. And I was quite shocked, because
go and see her where she is to say hello, come to her house.
Yeah. No.
In the church. Okay.
And I think I was a little bit more vocal than I'm a lot more mature and quiet now. So I just said to her, well, have you ever seen me and said hello? As in, and I didn't mean that in a way. I just meant, why were you expecting me to come and find you to? And I don't even know. I didn't really know her. It was just somebody in the same church. So I think a lot of times people feel entitled. They feel, oh, why didn't you do this? Because this is what I'm expecting from you. But one of the things we've said before is a person is a sum total of their
of their
upbringing,
the environments, the experiences, everything.
So you've got to, as long as fundamentally they're not a bad person, and they're not, and if somebody is good or bad for you. If you've established that they're a good person, then just let them be a friend as they are. Know them. Once you know them, you know their.
Yes, I guess what it says, don't place demands on them that, because it's that thing
that
of
is outside of their ability to provide.
Because you're expecting something from them that they can't give to you, then you're now getting upset with them for not giving it to you. So I 100% agree with that. And just going back to what you said about this lady that said, why don't you come and say hello to you? I remember two friends of mine, and same thing, it was in the church situation, and one of them said to me, she was talking about the other one, and she said, she never says hello. And I was like, well, have you said hello?
Have you said hello?
And it's that thing of, she said, well, she doesn't look like you. And I said, say hello. And the next time she saw her, she said hello, and they became firm friends. But if somebody has to make that first move, and I think sometimes we're too busy waiting for the other person to do it. And so, I guess that's, like...
And I always feel like, like you said, don't make the move and then let them do what you think they're going to do, which they're unlikely to actually do. And half the time, let me tell you something, people are not thinking about you that much. So don't be thinking, she didn't say hello to me, so she was or she didn't call me when I and the other, or no.
I think it's actually about giving grace. Because I think, I was trying to explain this to my 11-year-old the other day, and she said something, and I said, but maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe, I mean, not that you should make excuses all the time, but I do feel that you should make excuses.
I actually do that a lot. I'm like, it's rarely ever about you. Rarely ever about you.
Exactly. You just don't know what...
You just don't know what they're going through.
And I have another friend who a bit like me at the moment, as I don't have my glasses on, but she doesn't, she has glasses and she does not wear them. And then she walks straight past you. Now obviously when she does that to me, I'm like, oi! But other people were beginning to take offense. Like, she walked past me, she didn't say hello, and I was smiling at her. She just looked me straight in the head. And I'm like, the girl is blind. She cannot see you. And for reasons best known to her, she's decided not to wear her glasses. So if, she only wears them when she's driving, or she wears them when she really needs them. But in terms of walking on the street, she's not wearing them. So, and I know, because I know what I can see when my glasses are not on. And if I don't have lenses on, I figure. So if I don't know your figure, I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? So I think you're right. It's often, and I think that is about giving the grace, because it's always, you just don't know what that person is going through. And it's always, I'm always concerned that if I attack someone, like, sometimes I just feel like attacking you, that you do, but I'm always worried that I will attack them and then they'll now tell me some devastating news that just happened, and then I'm not.
I tell you what happened to me once. Long time ago when the kids were small, so we had a parent in my son's school who we knew her separate. I mean, we knew her, and so she had a son there as well. So we would often kind of, can you pick up? And then there was one morning that she was meant to pick our son up for school, and she just didn't turn up. And if you know me, I hate that lateness for school thing. You were livid. So I was like, but anyway, eventually we took him to school, and I didn't really, and I guess it was the Holy Spirit that helped me not to, her father died that morning.
Wow. You see, you just don't know. And at that point, when her father dies, the last thing she's thinking of
is whether or not I'm supposed to
carry somebody to school.
But imagine calling and say, where are you? He's late now.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And I just thought, you've got to really be careful about how you kind of just make everything about yourself. Yeah, I know, sometimes, that, but even if it was warranted and she was late, and that's not a reason to actually, blow a gasket and So I think for me, and as I get older, it's something that I try to, to help myself with in relationships with people, to just give them that grace. This is how, because me, myself.
You want that grace.
I need that grace because, I mean, a lot of people kind of think I'm very stern and tough and all that, but honestly, oftentimes I'm just thinking, as in my mind is, I'm like, okay, I have to, then that's where I am. I'm not even in the room with you most of the time, and people think, oh, she's not, but
But you see, I think it's. I mean, I think I mentioned this to you earlier about a friend of mine. You know, like I think you have to know what you've got when you've now formed these relationships. You have to know who you've got, and like you said, accept them for who they are.
Yeah.
Now, I firmly believe that iron sharpens iron, and if I'm in your life, it's to bring something better to your life. So if there are places where I can help you be better at certain things, then I will certainly try. But I do think that in doing that, that's just like almost like a bonus. I still have to, because in the end you can't change anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? You can only change yourself and how you respond to things. And I feel like sometimes just by responding in love makes all the difference to how that person, how that person will respond. Absolutely. So if somebody has always been on their case about, oh, you're always late, if you're always, you take a different stand and you're kind of like, oh, I hope nothing was wrong. Literally. Or, you come with a completely different angle, then it can change things. But you still have to know that, okay, this person is generally late. So in terms of my planning and my expectations, I can't put on them something that maybe they can't deliver.
Or which will disappoint you.
Although,
so you place those boundaries. And that's what,
although, sometimes I think that's, like we were saying, will you be late for work? I'm not sure.
But I think that lateness thing, like you said, there's so many facets to it. There could be an underlying issue that is leading up to that. It could just be that they're just sloppy at time management, in which case you can help them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what friends with that lateness thing in particular.
Like, there's not everything that you can.
That I think is something that everybody appreciates. You not wasting their time, so you can help your friend to not be late. But I think for some, some deeper character traits that you can't say is wrong or right. You can't say, oh, this is wrong, or it's just not your style. It's not just so I think you can accept that from people and just love them in that ways. This I wanted to thank somebody and I was gonna send them flowers. It's just something I would just send flowers, and I just happened to because I didn't think anybody would. I don't like flowers though. Don't even try it. And I was so glad I asked because
it's like that 5 languages of love. That what's his name that does it? Gary Chapman that wrote the book. It's so key because you just, I mean, if you're loving me and it doesn't enter, I'm not registering it as love. No matter how well you're doing it, I'm not registering it as love. So it's really important to know what
what the person will receive and appreciate from you. I think that was just my point. My point, it was just, you can have different friends for different purposes and they're still validly your friends. You don't necessarily have to say, oh, if you don't come with me on my destination birthday, then you're not a good really friend.
So I think, okay, I guess it's the way the wording of it. Because I guess, because when you said for different purposes, like I am selecting you to be my friend for this reason. I'm selecting you know what I mean? Whereas what you're saying is that within your friendship group, they play different roles. Or they meet different needs.
And you also, meet different needs for different people. I mean, presumably, that's why you're in their life.
I hope so. You just never know. It's funny, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was saying to me, we were talking about coming into 2023, and he was saying, plans, and we were just talking about his plans and goals and everything. He was like, if anybody that is not adding value to his life, he's going to cut off, and so when we finished, because it was really, and everything he said, I couldn't argue with it. But in my head, because he now said to me, oh, that what am I planning? So it was like, and I said to him, I said, I hear what you're saying about anybody that's not bringing value to your life, you want to cut them off. But I struggle with that because I feel like I don't know what I'm bringing to their life. What if I'm in their life for them as opposed to them being in my life for me? So they're not bringing anything to my life, but I'm bringing something to their life. And I don't feel like I can, unless I feel like God has categorically told me, cut ties. I don't feel like I can just cut people out because they're not bringing value. If I did that, cut out my friendship.
Ooh,
no, I'm joking. But I don't even look at it like that. Like, what are you bringing to my life? I obviously in interactions, I'll suddenly be like, oh gosh, I love Lola. I will see what you're bringing. but I don't look at it and
But
say,
people always say that when something dramatic has happened, or maybe somebody has done something. So you're like, oh, because yeah, you often see this in social media posts. No more toxicity in my life. No more. Oh, come on. You yourself, you're toxic now. Come on,
in somebody's life.
Do you understand? So let's. I always kind of take statements like sorry with a pinch of salt. I'm sorry because as a human being, and at a certain age as well, you start to think, where can I make a difference in somebody's life?
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking now. Everybody I meet, what can I do
what I tend to do in my life. To make
I'll make you a cup of tea.
Jeez.
So, you changing someone's life is adding value to your life, actually, because
absolutely, but people don't think
that's a legacy you're living in that person.
And people don't think like that though. They kind of think. I guess it's this whole thing.
Fine. Remove the people that are causing. I do that. Like, let me tell you something funny. I don't know if I should say this, but
go on.
Okay, so my dad died last year, and we did the funeral in Nigeria. I've never seen Nigerians behave like that before. But after the funeral, I just went through my phone and blocked at least 20 relatives. Wow. I'm like, I can't deal with you.
But you know what? I actually think that there's something to that for your mental health. Because I do think that there's some people that can totally throw. I mean, I always say to my son, because one of my sons gets quite angry. And I'm like, you mustn't allow somebody to let you reach this stage. You have to be in control of your emotions. I don't care what that person did to you. You need to be able to, at some point, either walk away or, you know what I mean? You can't get to this point. Because when you get to this point, it's only you that's suffering. Or that person, they've moved on. You know what I mean? So you have to. So I do think that sometimes for your own sanity, you do have to cleanse your environment or know what, And there was something that somebody said, they said, I was doing this thing, panel at church the other day, and one of the people said you can love from afar, which Pastor Agu says a lot. You love from afar. You don't need to.
In fact, he was the first person that gave me that phrase. I'm like, okay, I can love somebody from afar. I don't have to.
You don't have to be in close proximity.
And I don't even, we could be, as in the quote, I don't have to fight with you, but we don't have to be in that close space. Which is really helpful, actually.
And it is really, really helpful because I think sometimes, especially within Christianity, because you're doing brother, sister, you almost feel like you have to get on with every Christian. And the truth of the matter is that's not going to happen because we're all individuals and some things are not. As long as you can love yourselves, be decent, be polite, be whatever, purchase it, exactly. You don't need to, actually
to be in each other's space.
Just close space. like close space.
Which is fine. I mean, I always kind of also say that, look, I mean, this sounds a bit crude, but, however way you can put the niceness onto it, I don't like everybody. So
no.
I actually don't expect everybody to like me because, everyone has different ways of approaching life, and who says one is more valid than the, as long as you remain kind, polite, and all of those things. You're not necessarily going to get on with everything. That's just the way life is.
That's the reality, and I think also it's I feel like as Christians, like I said this on one of the episodes with Wonu, we were talking about love, and can you love your child all the time? That was
oh Lord. That's the whole topic.
That was the topic. And I was saying, you might not like them. You don't have to like them. But I feel like as Christians, we are to love. That is one of the things.
Love is, as they say, a verb.
Yeah, exactly. They do. So I feel like you can love everybody, but you don't have to like them. And you don't have to be friends with them. But you can still like them. And so you can still love them. So, obviously.
Because when it comes down to it, when we keep kind of having all these little squabbles. I don't like this person or this person. But when you talk about that love factor, when it comes down to it, you will still be there for the person. For example, if they're going through something really, tough or traumatic, you would still step up and say, look, we're standing up for this person. We're they're a human being, first of all, not to talk of being within that Christianity, whatever, circle as well. So, and that's love. That's it doesn't mean we all have to or
Yeah, we don't have to be best friends. We don't have to do lunch. don't have to, hang out, nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah. we can just no, but I think it's I think it's key. But friendship is a really huge topic. That's I think this is like the third one I've done on friendship, and we always go to a different age of friendship because you can go on forever on different things. But I'm really happy to know that you are not saying that I should choose my friends based on what they can give me. Because I think that's how I interpreted the statement, and I was like, what on earth? No, that's not what friendship is like. So yes.
No, so to be clear, what I'm trying to say is be the friend to the person and let the person be themselves as a friend. I don't know if that makes sense. Don't try and change them.
Yeah, love them as
let,
they
let
are.
there be some grace in the friendship. Once you establish fundamentally that you both love each other and you're both coming from a good place, the rest is obita.
Brilliant. Okay, well, so hopefully we've given you something to think about, your friendships, and just love people. If you have to love them from afar, love them from afar. Accept your friends for who they are. Yes, love them warts and all. Isn't that what we say?
Yes,
Warts and
indeed.
all. Although I still believe that even though you're loving them warts and all, you can help them to get rid of some warts.
Well,
if
absolutely.
necessary. If it's something that can be,
Yeah.
and that is detrimental.
But that's what goes back to what you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yes, this is true. Yes. Okay. Well, do let us know if you have any comments. If there's anything you'd like us to discuss, let us know. And we will see you next time. In the meantime, rock your own gorgeous.
Absolutely.